I'm from Indiana, so I'm not used to this, right? Like everything I do equates to high school basketball, and normally I play the JV before the varsity. So the varsity first, and I sat next door and watched as the crowd dissipated at the end. For us, like obviously, just Marcus's injury, and like we'd put out like having surgery on Wednesday and no not timetable for his return. My immediate thoughts as a coach, right? Like that's my job is to be a coach of Notre Dame's basketball team, but like that's one of my sons, right? That's family right there, and like what we've gone through together. It's I'm immediately heartbroken for him to have to go through this situation, and another injury, and after fighting through another injury last year. So all my thoughts are to him and getting himself better and healthy and handling this. And I think, for a kid that, obviously he's going to have us as a basketball family. He's going to have, this Notre Dame community supporting him, but, he's a local kid as well. So this is a time for, everybody in this community kind of wrap your arms around him, just to help him through, right? Like the hardest thing for these kids is when you deal with an injury of like, everything changes for you as a basketball player, right? We don't put all of our what we do into who we are, but sometimes that's their identity for kids that are going through this. So like, I think it's a rallying cry for all of us to really help him, especially now, right early on, right after this surgery, to get him mentally back. We're going to be there for him. We're going to help him, and our focus is on helping our group and helping our team, but also being there for him and being strong for him during this time.
Questions? Tom?
Last year when this happened, it was such a whirlwind where you had the games in Vegas and then you had to come back and go to Georgia, to where it was like everything was moving so fast. How much more prepared and capable is this team to adjust without Marcus, given you had success Friday, you've got better depth, you've got better talent, to where however long he's out, you feel like you guys can weather it with the pieces that you have?
Yeah, and just the timetable and the schedule wise as well, right? Like, he gets hurt the first game in Vegas and we play immediately the next day, and then 2 days later, and then we fly home from Vegas and play 2 days later. There was no like stopping point there at all. I think we've had, obviously, the rest of the TCU game, and we had a couple off days. Now we have a couple of practices. Like there is a chance to kind of reset in the moment for us, and I think we are better equipped with this team to handle it. You never want this or wish this, but I think we are better equipped to handle it. Now it's just about going and doing it. But I think the schedule helped us a little bit more this year.
You talked the other night about now what. Will you talk to them today about the now what, as to finishing out Idaho and finishing out Evansville and building on all the things that you were able to do last week?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like we don't want to lose any momentum from our group and how we're playing and what we're doing. So, it's all hands on deck with our guys, and people's roles like their roles don't really shift. The time they play might shift, but you still need to be a star in what you do, and that's what we're looking for our group. But no, we want to keep building. Like we have an entire season ahead of us that we're locked in on playing, right? We have the game on Wednesday, and I told our guys it's the most important game of our season because it's the next game. And the moment you take your eyes off of that and start looking at what happened behind you, that's when you take your eyes off the road and something bad happens. So, we're focused on what's immediately ahead of us, and and that starts with our game tomorrow against a good team, right? They're 6-3. They're number one in the country in 3-point field goal attempt volume. So, like those are the most dangerous teams you play in the non-conference, is the ones that just shoot it freely. And that's what they do. They've already gone on the road and won at Iowa State. They've beaten some good teams. So all of our focus is on doing what we need to do to beat Idaho tomorrow.
Goes Sabrina in the back.
Okay. We talked to you after that Missouri game about how much your team fought in that game. How much did you learn from your team in that overtime win over TCU?
Yeah, just our resilience showed, and also, like we talked about it after Missouri, was like sometimes you just need a little bit of good things to happen to kind of fortify your belief. And I think us doing that against Missouri, coming back and getting a tough win down the stretch, it helped us in the TCU game of just being able to use every experience possible to help us win the next game. And, all of those wins, all of these experiences, the loss to Ohio State, the win versus Bellarmine, like all of those help us each time we step out and play. So, I was happy with our guys for how they responded, how they came back and fought to get that win on Friday.
And then how much growth have you seen from guys like Cole Serta just off the court and, that has led to his success here on the court?
Yeah, I think we've always talked about, like, we want to be a program that is built on our retention and built on our internal development. And I think guys are making strides and getting better. And it might not always be something outwardly, right? Like Cole's getting a lot of, talk about the threes that he's made in the last two games. But, one area, like his defense has really improved. He's guarding people and getting stops and sliding his feet and like chasing shooters, like little things like that. I think you're seeing areas of improvement from him, but from a lot of our guys that it's not always outwardly and easily seen. But our guys are really working to keep improving, and that's going to help us throughout the year.
Go to Jack next in the middle.
Building off Tom's second question, like human nature being what it is, it seems natural you just won two huge games against Missouri and TCU. Now it's kind of natural to take a breath and we're playing Idaho on a Wednesday night. How do you prevent that from happening?
Should have been in our meeting yesterday. Right? Like, you haven't done anything if you're sitting back thinking about what you've done previously. Like, our goals coming in this season wasn't to beat Missouri and TCU and then shut it down for the rest of the year, right? Like, we got to keep getting better, and this is the next opportunity for us to get better. So we are locked in on every opponent that we play. We might not play great, but it doesn't mean we're not locked in on this game, and we are locked in on this game. We'll be ready to go.
Harrelson taking over the primary point guard role from Marcus in the late in the first half and the second half. Like, what did you see from him as far as improving from those early turnovers after Marcus got hurt, and then just kind of taking over the game at the end?
Yeah, I think it's pretty natural for him. That's what he's done his whole career. He's played point guard. So it was easy for him to slide over and just start doing that. He's practiced it. We've done it in the games. I think the greatest area of growth I thought our team did against TCU was we as a group attacked them the right way, right? Every game you go in is different, right? If you got the best team in the country, then you're going to play your style and your system. It doesn't matter who you play. You can just do the same thing and it's going to work, right? Like, we're not the most talented team in the country, but we have good players. We also have guys that can think the game now. And from game to game, it might look different. There's things that aren't going to change. Like, you got to take care of the ball, you got to rebound the basketball, we got to share the ball. Those things are never going to change. But how we get to those might change from game to game. Looking at how TCU guarded us, this is the specific way how we wanted to attack them. And I thought our guys did a great job of doing that over and over and over again in that game, right? It might look different against Idaho because they're going to guard different than TCU, right? This group, I think, can find what it is to help us create an advantage and then do it. That's where we got to be really good as a group. I think that's where Jaylen, as a freshman, was able to do that kind of seamlessly in that game. Now he's got to be able to keep doing it from game to game. So a lot of time spent watching film, a lot of time working with coaches, but a lot of time with him and our other guys really digesting the game plan and executing it.
First in the back, then up to Chuck after that.
Obviously, Jalen's role changes a little bit, but aside from the obvious, how have you seen him growing just in the last 8-9 games?
Yeah, it's, you know, he had such a rough start, right? Like from his first game getting injured, where now you lose almost like 2 games with him, or 2.5 games. But I think like he's getting more and more confident in how he's playing, how to attack, what to do next. His effort's been fantastic, and that's what, you know, you don't know from you know, you get a 5-star talent, you don't know how they're going to deal with coaching. You don't know how they're going to deal with, you know, playing hard. And it, like, he allows me to coach him. He allows me to get on him if I don't think he's playing hard. But you don't have to. Like, he's doing a lot of things for our team. Like, he's trying to guard people on the defensive end. He's working his tail off doing that. He's going to the glass on both ends. He's handling the ball. Like, he's doing a lot for our team. And just, you know, he's being coached and he's doing it the right way, and he's a great teammate. So that part of it, you know, he's doing everything we've asked. And now I think as we keep going, the game will start slowing down for him. He'll start to see everything better. And, you know, we can use him in some different ways, because I think, like I said, the game is like starting to take a little bit of a step down for him.
You had to play more than half the game without Marcus at TCU. As you look ahead to the next several weeks and months, is it reassuring seeing how you guys responded without him?
Yeah, you know, I thought our guys, like early on, I thought the rest of the first half we were a little bit out of sorts. But it was kind of the immediate, you know, afterthought, right? Because they don't get a chance to really see him or talk to him or do anything, right? He gets injured, then he gets taken off the court, and the game keeps going, right? And that's their brother. That's somebody they fight with every single day, and to not know what's happening, it kind of takes their mind off everything. I think being able to get back in the locker room and see him, he was in the locker room at halftime, and those guys got a chance to see him and talk to him, and then him coming back out, you know, and being on the bench in the second half, I thought it was a little bit reassuring for them of like, okay, like, yes, he's injured, but he's okay. And now we can continue on. So when we got back to that, I thought, you know, we really fought, we really competed. I thought we executed in a good way. Now we just have to keep that going.
I guess the knowledge that you can win without him, though. You don't want to, but you can.
Yeah. And like you said, yeah, we don't want to. And, you know, we just have to do it in different ways now, right? We're always trying to seek advantages on offense, and that's one advantage that's taken away. Now we just have to do it in a different way. So, you know, that's the one good thing is, like, you know, it's going to test us as coaches, right? Can't be cookie cutter, right? Can't just, like I said, we're not the Dukes of the world, the Kansas of the world that just, we're going to out talent you no matter who you are. Like, we're going to have to coach, we're going to have to scheme, we're going to have to figure it out. And our guys, I think, we got a bunch of basketball players. We got you guys that love it. We got a bunch of guys that might end up coaching at some point in time, unfortunately for them. But like, I think they enjoy this kind of process of how do we win the next game.
Chuck.
You brought in Tout not only for rebounding, but for toughness. I mean, he literally almost got in a fight against TCU. Talk about the toughness that he has brought to this squad.
Yeah, it's like you feel so much better when you're walking down the street and your big brother's with you, right? Like he just gives off that feel to some guys that like everything's gonna be okay, right? Like like, I'm walking next to him, I feel a little bit tougher because he's next to me. Because if anything breaks out, like, there he is, right? Like I could start it, and there he is. Right? That's how it is, and that toughness, that belief, that attitude, like I said, is rubbed off on other guys, and yeah, he's been great for us. And sometimes it's on the court and necessary, but sometimes it's just in the locker room. Sometimes it's just in pregame warm-ups, right? Sometimes it's in practice, like what he does for our group, the energy that he brings to them, but the toughness and the belief has been like very, very helpful for us.
And then a guy like Logan, last year he almost seemed a little bit lost. And this year he's been able to hit some critical shots for you at critical times. How have you seen his development impact?
Yeah, I think he's the ultimate guy that's just stayed with it, kept fighting, kept competing. There was this spring, I painted about as grim of a picture as possible for him. And he said, as long as you believe in me, I'm like, that's all I care about. And like the way that he just kind of went about his business the rest of the spring, through the summer, through the fall, even in tough moments that he's had. Like he didn't play great in the first half against Missouri. He's had different times throughout, but like when it gets to the end of games, he's a dude that I trust. He's gonna really sit in the stands and guard and fight and compete. He's not scared of the moment to take a big shot. Even he hadn't taken a shot the whole game, it swings his way because of the time and what he's done and put in. Like he's not afraid to take a big shot in those moments. He's gonna do his assignment, right? Like he ended up down there on David Punch for game, right? We switched the ball screen and now he's guarding their best player in the post and just gets physical with him, doesn't let him get a layup. So like, just having guys like that, like I've said it multiple times, he's a program guy, and program guys help you win. Guys that are preaching your message in the locker room and on the court, those guys help you win. They help your culture.
Anything else?
Did you ever see a video or evidence of, okay, that's how Marcus got hurt? Because we couldn't see it Friday. The TV replays really didn't show. Like, was there ever a moment when you went back and looked and said, now I see that his foot went that way or something?
Yeah, not really,
Yeah.
right? That's the first thing, when I get on the bus or on the plane and I get the video of the game, that's like the first thing you go look at. But no, like really just kind of a freak injury, right? Which is, unfortunate for him. He was really, you guys were watching the game. He was really hitting his groove, right? Coming off of a double-double against Missouri with 10 assists. He had 6 points and 5 assists, no turnovers in 9 minutes. Like he was really peaking in how he was playing, but starting, like I talked about it with Jaylen, but the game was starting to slow down for him now at this point in time in the season. So, I like I said, I feel bad for him because like he was about to take off. He was really about to take off. But no, there's no real evidence of what it was. It just, something, a freak injury that happened, unfortunately for him. But he'll recover from it. He'll be better for it, and I can't wait to see, what's next for him.
We'll do 2 final questions, starting right here.
Hey, Micah, just curious. Obviously, it's been a couple crazy days around here. You might have heard of the news with the football thing. I'm just wondering, like, the football thing. I'm wondering, like, from your perspective, like, do you reach out to like Marcus or anyone in the football program, like, hey, man, like, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you, because it feels like you guys are all really like close friends in the coaching community here. Like, I'm just curious what your perspective on how you reach out and handle that.
Yeah, I went. Playing on Friday allows you to go recruiting Saturday. So most of our staff got out and went recruiting, and I was at an all day event, right? So Sunday, I'm cashed, man. I was tired. We got in late. I recruit all day Saturday, but I'm cashed. But Sunday, I'm like, I'm gonna get a chance to sleep in. But I set my alarm right? I made sure that like at noon I was watching that. So I watched it, right? And it just like anybody else, like it ruined my day. I'm a fan too, right? I've been a Notre Dame fan since a little kid. So that like it ruined my day just like everybody else. But you know, I have had a chance to talk to Marcus since then, right? Like, it's just uh, you know, but you don't know what to say in those moments, right? Like he and I have gone through it as coaches. And like, yeah, I feel for him as a fellow Notre Dame coach. But it's more about the kids, the players, right? Those are the guys that like you feel bad for, right? Not to say I don't feel bad for him, but like the kids are the ones that you feel bad for. So, you know, I'm can't wait to get a chance, and I hope I get a chance to see those guys, you know, again. You know, the guys that are leaving, just to tell them how much I appreciated watching them, and I appreciated what they've done for Notre Dame and the football program. So, you know, shouts out to those guys because they did have a tremendous season.
All right, final question with Talia in the back.
Hey, sorry, you kind of took the question out of my head, but
Mhm.
kind of similar. Like when you see that football season unfold, does that send a message to your guys of how important winning those important games are?
Yeah, no, every game, right, for us, and we've, you know, I haven't like, I don't know, I think I've talked about it, but like, you know, it's something that Coach Painter talked to me about early this year, before our season started, and then we met with our guys of talking about how important different games are, right? And like, you can't talk about how important the Idaho game is on Tuesday, and now your guys like got a feeling of tenseness, right? But when you do it in the off season, in the fall before we've started practice and laid out, like here is what is your path to an NCAA tournament berth look like, and show them like there and there, like these games are really important, right? So like our guys know the importance of each game and you know what it takes. We play a longer season, right? They play a shortened season, but we play a longer season. But our guys know the importance of every single game that we play. But we also do it way before and don't talk about it, you know, the day of, and then they're like, no, nervous, nobody can make a shot or something. But we're locked in on what we need to do to have a successful season.
Thank you.
Great.